movement here. So it's talking about negativity, positivity. What comes to mind for me is Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey in his popular best seller book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He postulates what he calls 3 circles, right? One is the circle of consign, right, which is everything in our environment that affects us that we have no control over. Right here, we include tax, because we truly have no control over how much tax we pay at the initial stage, right? It's a government regulation. It's a government system. We don't set up that system. That system is set up by our society, our government, and we need to live according to it, the law of the land. The tax laws are there to be obeyed, right? As Benjamin Franklin would say, there are 2 things that you're going to do, right? You're going to die, to pay tax. You're going to pay tax, So it's something that's going to happen, because unless we're lawbreakers, right? But our discussion in financial empowerment is not how to go to jail. It's all about how to use the system lawfully to be financially empowered, to be financially independent, to gain financial freedom. Right, that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about stealing money, breaking the law, or anything that is not lawful, right? So we are focused on the lawful way of getting financial freedom, financial independence, financial empowerment, right? So we look at it from Stephen Covey, and we talk about the 3 circles, right? Circles being circle of concern is the law of the land, part of which is tax, right? Tax is the law of the land. We need to we seemingly have no control over it, right? Inside that circle is what he calls the circle of influence, or you might call it a circle of control. It includes the things we have control over, right? So question we'll be asking ourselves is, if we cannot control the law, tax law, what do we over? Some of the things we have control over is understanding the law, right? We have control over understanding the law. We have control over working with people that understand the law, right? Because even though there is a law, tax law, we don't want to pay more than we are supposed to pay. There's no use throwing money away. Yes, we want to obey the law, but we don't want them to be loose with money. We don't want them to be not disciplined with money. Right? We want to pay what is our due and no more. Pay what is our due and no more. All right. And if there are opportunities where the government will pay us, we want to gain advantage of those opportunities also. We want to maximize our tax return, right? We want to limit the tax we pay. We don't want to pay more than is our due, and we also want to maximize the opportunities to get tax returns, right? Those are within our control. Those are things we can influence, right? But we're going to pay tax. That is outside our control. But in our control is knowing tax law, right? And even when we don't know it, we can employ those who know it. That is their profession. That is what they do for a living. And we can use their service to optimize our relationship with tax, right? And that's all that Stephen Covey postulates, But the important thing, which is a 3rd circle that is not popularly mentioned, but it's important, is there is a smaller circle, the circle of influence. Even though there are a lot of things that we have control over, the truth is that we don't do all of them. There might be 100 things that we have control over, right? To the extent to which we do those things is when we get a benefit. But the truth is that we only do the things we are committed to, right? There are things done, the 100 things that we have influence over, 100 things that we have control over, right? But it's only those that we do. So that's a smaller circle. It's a circle of commitment, right? What we actually commit ourselves to doing and do, right? To the extent to which we work on that will cause that our circle of influence, circle of commitment will grow bigger, right? And to the extent to which we work on that also, as a circle of grow also, and our circle of concern will as it were, reduce, right? So, but also that's on the circle of commitment is, don't forget, knowledge is not, it is knowledge is put to use that power, right? So it's not about what I can do, it's what I do that makes a difference for me, right? So we need to focus on the things we can do and do them. And, that's what we get the benefit of the things that we can do concerning tax, right? Really, tax are inevitable, right? For what they have, the things that have to happen, right? Ever since they've been instituted, they became things that have to happen, right? There's no escaping it, right? And Frederick the Great puts it this way: says, no government can exist without taxation. This money must necessarily be levied on the people, and the grand act consists of levying so as not to oppress, right? In a democratic government, in a free world, you don't want to tax in a way that the people feel oppressed, right? In a monarchy, in a communist society, yes, people are not free. Those in authority seemingly oppress them with tax. But the intent of tax in the free world is not to oppress, but to cause everyone to bring in their fair share in a communal living, right? Is to donate their fair share, contribute their fair share to what concerns everybody, right? So tax must be levied, but it must be done in such a way that nobody feels oppressed, right? So there is then the need for both the government and we, the people, to frame tax as much as possible in a positive light, right? It's the onus and government on their side as much as possible to work out the tax in such a way that it's not oppressive and the people see it that way, right? It's also we that pay tax to see tax in a way that gives us mastery, right? And not oppression, right? Irrespective of what the law might be, it's up to us to gain mastery over it, right? And that's a popular saying we normally say: if you cannot change a thing, then change the way you look at it, change your attitude towards it. It's called reframing. Change your attitude, change the way you are thinking about it, change your perspective, right? Frame it in such a way that you gain mastery over it. It does not limit you, but rather motivates you, right? And that's what we're set to do as we continue this discussion.